My name is Chief Asifah Nibiru Osmasa Bey. I don't believe in participating in U.S. corporation affairs because I'm not a U.S. corporate citizen. I feel that over many years of us fighting for civil rights and democracy, it has not benefited our people. It's actually, like Martin Luther King said, as he believes that our people have been, he led our people to a burning fire. So I just want to say this, that voting makes us corporate slaves to a corporate debt. And when we sign that commercial contract to say that we're a citizen of a U.S. corporation, not a government, but a corporation that came on indigenous people's lands like the Iroquois, the Lebanese, Wichita, that we're giving them our power and our labor and our energy. We should not give them our energy whatsoever. Matter of fact, I feel that we need to develop our own institution, our own tribal nations, so we can be self-sufficient, independent, and we can have our own autonomy. So I'm not for the vote because it's not getting us nowhere, and we keep constantly voting for one slave master for another slave master. And this is what I feel. Not only what I feel, what I know. And my opinion is that we will never progress as a people if we do not make a change to reclaim our culture and our spirituality and our individualism as a people and our own autonomy. So I vote for reparations and separation, and that's about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Hichem and I'm 36 years old and I'm currently living in Paris right now. I work as a teacher. I teach high school and middle school, and unfortunately there are not too many options. You have two people. You have someone who is in office right now who has not been doing a great job lately. I mean, Navis was in office actually. When it comes to the pandemic, he was not really managing the thing as he should. The death toll has been rising. People are dying each and every day. The social injustice are increasing tremendously, and that's a big problem in America. And you know, from my perspective, for someone who's living abroad and living in France, I follow what's going on in America, you know, social media, on the news, and what's going on in terms of the racial inequalities in America is just appalling and insane. And it drives me nuts when I see that on TV, that some minorities, sometimes they're afraid of themselves just to be checked by the police. I mean, the police, they have the right, you know, to check people, and of course, but most of the time, and sometimes it ends up tragically, you know, someone has to die or anything of that kind of nature. So that's the reason why you guys need to go to vote and choose the right person in order to change this stuff. And the narrative in America, and people, the problem is in America, the narrative has not changed, that now people are not afraid to voice their opinion, and people are becoming more and more racist, you know, because they have someone who represents America who's actually racist.
It's very simple these days. You know, most of my friends vote. Everybody votes, so it's not a huge issue on voting. Getting to mostly the younger people, and I guess maybe today, after hearing a few things about a few older people, maybe we need to get out and push the vote. That's the main thing. Push the vote.
Yeah, my father, he used to always come up with this comical stuff. And got on the subject of voting, and he says, he reminded us that like he, my mom, always voted. They always went out to vote. And he says, main thing is you have to vote on people that's running, number one. He says, whether it's president, mayor, governor, city council, whatever. He says, vote. And he says, he also hit me with something that was like, hey, you also read the ballot and vote on the issue. Whatever the issues are. Sometimes there are no issues. Sometimes there are like 4 or 5 issues. But it has something to do with you and your family. Your sons, your daughters. It has something to do with them. Schools. Every issue is pertinent to everyone. Water projects, sewage projects, schools, the WIC programs, the programs for seniors, all these things that have to do with the people in the cities and in the states. So what you need to do, what we need to do, is read the issues and vote on them accordingly.
My name is Dr. Terry McMoore. I'm an activist. I'm a recording artist. I'm a political consultant. I've done a lot over the years. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I live here in Tennessee, where the political scale is totally different, but nevertheless, wherever I go, I vote. There are 600 million plus Americans in this country. Out of that 600 plus million Americans in this country, white folks make up about 325 to 350 million people in the population, followed by the next largest group, which is the Hispanic population at 65 million, and the next largest group is us, black folks, at 55 million. I just want to talk about the big 3. And the reason why I want to talk about the big 3 is because we make up 55 million people in the population. That's 55 million different thoughts, opinions, and 55 million types of people that's going to vote differently and do 55 million things differently. So we're all going to do stuff differently, and we're all going to think differently. Stop acting like it's 50 black people and we all going to do the same thing. We're all going to think differently, all right? But one thing I do believe that it's our civic duty to do is to vote. And because we make up 55 million people in the population, no celebrity, no one celebrity, no small group of celebrities is going to be able to tell us about voting. And so therefore, don't listen to people when they tell you your vote don't count, okay? Because voting does change things. It all depends on what part of change are you looking for, okay? They always say it ain't going to change the overall picture. It doesn't change the overall picture for most white folks, okay? So it's not going to change the overall picture for us, okay, as black folks. So throw that shit in the garbage and get out there and vote, okay? All right, another thing that I want to touch on is this. We tip the scales with our 55 million people in this country, more so than the Hispanics do, because a lot of their 65 million people are made up of people that are not legal residents or have other reasons as to why they cannot be a political power block like we are as black people. All right? We've been here longer, okay? We've built up more political clout. We built up more of everything with our 55 million people in the population. So therefore, we are going to be that power base the voters going to come for year after year. Okay? So that's where we stand. Your vote is your voice. Get out there and vote, okay? And make a difference, okay, in the world today. If your vote wasn't important, you wouldn't have a president out there, Donald Trump, lying, saying that he is doing something for us just to get us to vote for him, knowing damn real that black people do not vote for oppressors. Okay? Donald Trump is an oppressor. And as soon as we peeped his game and saw he was an oppressor, we said we stand away from that dude. Okay? So for Joe Biden, okay, black vote support is at 81% because black folks is not going to support an oppressor. Because if a man like Donald Trump fuck over his own people, we know we next, and all we do is deal with oppressed shit in this country every day. All right? So with that said, all right, get out there and exercise your vote. If you don't want to vote for Biden, then that's on you, okay? But I guarantee there's other people on that ticket, okay, that you can exercise your vote with by voting for, okay? But I'm just here to tell you that you voting on a regular is important. It will change things. And what that change is in your life depends on you. Because we all want different things. We all are part of that 55 million black population in the United States of America. So we're going to have 55 million different reasons where we want to see change.
All right. So this year has been kind of interesting because the two people that are running for election are in their mid-70s. So they past senior citizen. They like older than like, they got Noah's, beeper number, and they got Moses' cell phone and all this other stuff. They older than dirt. But these are the two candidates that are, running for the president of the United States. And there's been, tons and tons of controversy, not just with 45, as Mark called them, which I've been calling them for the last 3 years. But Joe Biden has a lot of dirt on him from working with giving the eulogy for Robert Byrd, who was the KKK Grand Dragon or Grand Wizard or whatever, And there was also, he made a couple statements talking about he doesn't want, black people living in his neighborhood. And you also have, the fact that he was one of the people that was a proponent of the crime bill. So I want to first address, the fact that Joe Biden has been very, we'll start with the predator issue, with the fact that, he's been accused of being disrespectful to women. So any of you guys can take that. We don't have to go in order. Can anybody address, the rumors of what has been going on with Joe Biden in terms of how he, disrespects women? And you can also address the fact that, Donald Trump talking about grabbing women by their, vajayjays and everything. So you could go both. You could answer both questions.
All right. And I'm chiming in from a theological perspective, all right? Because the Bible says that judge not, lest you be judged.
Amen.
Okay?
Matthew 7.
That's what the Bible says. So, and not only that, things are subject to change, because let he who's without sin cast the first stone. All right? And I'm going to leave that right there.
Okay.
Well, with me, I feel like we only got two people on that election ballot, and we have to try, even though we know, there was tapes and videos of guys, doing wrong things to women and all that. They both was, doing different things to degrade women and everything. Not only women, but also, the African American people. You know what I'm saying? I hear them in campaigns. But right now, we doing one at a time. Right now, we're going to get one out, and then we're going to get the other one later.
I find it disrespectful that they don't give us the opportunity to do the things that we've earned through years of struggle. That's what I find disrespectful, on top of disrespecting women. The fact that healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right, it's a human right. And the fact that you have this president and you have the Republicans and the GOP trying to remove all of that and take away our rights. These are the things that make people want to go and stand in line for 8 hours. The fact that they're depriving us the opportunity to vote. Those are the things I find disrespectful. And that's why I encourage everybody, and I'm very passionate with that. Go out and vote. Like, don't vote on election day. Vote before then, like I did, like my sons did, like my wife did. like my family did, like my neighbors did. Go out there and encourage, grab your neighbor, grab a friend, grab somebody and say go out there and vote. Because it is the most important thing that you can do as an American citizen.
May I respond to that?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Mark.
And I understand what he's saying, and he's absolutely right, 100% right. And I'm not going to rebuttal, but I just want to expound.
Add on to it.
I just want to expound on what he's saying, right? Because the voting right in itself is your right. A lot of people say, I'm not going to vote for this one, I'm not going to vote for that one. But then when they don't vote, they want to argue about the person that got in. No? So cast your vote, you know what I'm saying? Make, because you have that right to do it.
Let your voice be heard.
Let your voice be heard. And not only let your voice be heard, that one vote might determine.
Do you have any thoughts about the MCs or rappers that are, you know, getting down with at the last minute Larrys, I call them, that were requested at the, you know, the hands of 45?
I mean, I hear about a lot of MCs that want to go vote for the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a lot of power and a lot of influence. And a lot of people forget when they get money and they get to high positions, they forget where they come from. And that's what happens in these scenarios where the mayors and the presidents, they go to these rappers. They got a whole lot of followers and people look up to them and ask them to sponsor them or cut them a check and tell them, you know, listen, you need to tell your people to vote for me. And look, I got $10 million for you if you get you and the rest of your gang, and y'all can split that if y'all can vote for me. You know what I'm saying? And they don't care because they up there, they got the money, they forget about the little people, which is the people in the suburban areas, in the Bronx and the Queens and the Jersey, like where people are struggling and they living in mansions somewhere up there, so they're not even worrying about the other half. So if it damages us down here, you understand, they feel like it's not gonna affect them, but in reality, it's gonna be a chain reaction, because after they deal with us down here, they're coming up there to get you too.
I find it real kind of strange that the rappers, so-called rappers, want to get in and want to chime in and side with number 45 and give their opinion when it comes to this vote here. Where was they 4 years ago? Where was they 8 years ago? Where was they 12 years ago? But all of a sudden this year they want to show their face like they down, when in actuality they have proved nothing. They ain't have no drives, no voting drives. They ain't out there to promote the vote or nothing. They just want their 15 minutes of fame, and then they out of there. They probably got a check. I'm gonna leave that right there.
Living in two different societies, two different worlds. We have two different systems. You want to be polite? We can say rich and poor, but you know what that really is.
Yes.
Right? How can you have 10-year-old boy playing in the park with a toy gun get shot less than 5 seconds when the police come there? And then you have these mass murderers, which are predominantly white, carrying out with these AK-47.
Walking down the street.
And the police are talking them down.
Anybody's paying attention to what's going on. This is Mark Collins from the legendary Collins Brothers, one here in Mount Vernon. As far as this election 2020 going on, with the pandemic and all that, if anybody's paying attention, there's long lines out there. As far as the pre-voting and this, that, and the other, then there's going to be a day that we vote November 3rd. There's probably going to be some longer lines. But my aspect on this, until the Latino woman get involved, until the black woman get involved, it's not going to be no change. It's going to be ongoing. So we're going to need the Latino woman and the black woman to get involved. They are the force of recognition in this vote. This vote might determine the next administration. That one vote. If you want my honest opinion, I think what happened with the Obamacare and the American Care Act, that was Donald Trump's way of trying to demise Obama. If you listen to his rhetoric everything he says, mostly like every other conversation he has, is about whatever Obama accomplished, he tries to do away with it. And that's because that's his legacy. When I say his legacy, I'm talking about Obama. He's trying to do away with his legacy. The only black president, and he just don't, he don't like him. He don't like him, and he's trying to do his legacy.
Emcee TNT, and I'm here to see if I can persuade with my speech anybody that wants to vote, because it's so important for us to get these votes in for the community. And don't wait until the votes is over to then start complaining about the stuff that's not getting done around your neighborhood. You need to come out and vote and get yourself together. I don't care if you gotta bring your walker out. I don't care if you gotta bring your grandma. Bring everybody, because we gotta vote and get these people out of here, because us in the hood, we are the voice and we are the people. And I'm guaranteeing that if you vote, we gonna win.
Hi, my name is Shirley Capaldo. I was born in New York City, but I've been a resident of Jersey City the past 15 years. I want to expand on talking about exercising your right to vote. It's literally, the power is literally in your hands. I come from parents who were both immigrants, so I watched them not be able to exercise that right. My mom just became a citizen a couple of years ago, so now she's very eager and excited to, put her opinion, pick her leader. It's all on us. A lot of countries don't even have that opportunity, and it's so important for you to come out November 3rd and vote.
My name is Floyd Newton. I'm a retired cop from New Jersey. As far as this voting thing, I feel that it's very important to us, especially as people of color. I voted early. I voted early because I didn't want to go through the line during this pandemic. I didn't feel like the harassment that we might have, that the voting system is giving us this year, especially all the other years in the past. I didn't feel like going through that this year. So I voted like maybe 2 months earlier. I had a absentee ballot. As soon as I got the ballot, I filled it out. I took it to the Board of Elections of my county and put it in the block box. Now I expect our people to get out here and vote, because it's very important for us to vote. A lot of people say our vote don't count. Our vote counts. Our vote, when you don't vote, that vote goes to somebody that you don't want in office. So vote.
Those of us that feel candidates may be the color of myself, black candidates, they're not going to do anything for us anyway. That may be true, but maybe they'll do something for our family. If it's for our community, I would say go out and vote.
If you don't vote, we're gonna fuck you up.
Come back, baby. Come back, baby. Come back, baby. Come back, baby.
Disco Daddy here, reminding everybody that it's very important that you exercise the right under the Constitution that you have to get out and vote. Voting for the president, the Electoral College chooses the president. Everybody has issues with that, but that's the way it is. So The local laws, however, and the local officials are the ones that will be impacting you in your community. So it's very important, if you want to change something you don't like in your community, to get out there and vote. If you want to change a law or ordinance that you don't like in your local community, get out there and vote. Voting is the key. Voting is free. Disco Daddy, the father of West Coast hip hop. Peace.